tied up by Green. Throws it back up top. James puts up the three. Oh, it's good! LeBron James from downtown.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of 3 Guys on Mike. I'm Little Man, joined by William, the Eagles fan himself. As we're talking about this, the 2 games just finished. One that we care about, one we don't care about, right? But I'm going to mention it still. The Eagles and the Buccaneers game finished. Buccaneers won, obviously. Dodgers took the NLDS. But moving on to that, the Buccaneers-Eagles. What did you see that you liked, and what didn't you like? I mean, there should be a lot that you didn't like, because there is a lot that I didn't like coming from the Eagles' standpoint.
Yeah, looking at this game, I see a lot of questions that have yet to been answered this entire season from Nick Sirianni. Looking at week 1, I even saw some things that I didn't like about this team and that I didn't like about his play calling. But again, we got the win, so no one really paid attention to it. A lot of Eagles fans were excited about the season, and I was too, but I still saw that there were some things about the play calling and the situational football that Nick Sirianni likes to play. And obviously, he doesn't give Jalen Hurts any opportunity to succeed. Jalen Hurts is also shooting himself in the foot a lot. But Nick Sirianni doesn't give Miles Sanders any opportunities to showcase what he's done in the past 3 years. I really wanted them to build off of what he's been doing in the past years. They've done the opposite, to be honest. If you look at it, in the first half, he had 2 touches. One was a reception, one was a rushing attempt. And he really didn't get many yards off of it. Also, when you look at it, you have Miles Sanders for the entire game. He had 9 rushes for 56 yards. And once he started getting the ball later on in the game, later on in the fourth quarter, he was explosive. Those are some of the Eagles' biggest plays, was him going up the middle, making plays himself in the open field. And one thing that's also kind of crazy to me is that Devontae Smith isn't getting as many targets as he should be, especially with this Buccaneers defense secondary that has been injured. And the biggest playmaker so far in this game against the Buccaneers, the biggest playmaker was Jalen Reagor, who had 0 stats, didn't have a catch, didn't have any yards at all, but he was still the biggest playmaker because of his speed and the way he route runs. And he had a few touchdowns that could have been 6, but again, he was getting called, or they were calling Buccaneers defensive backs for PIs.
Yeah, that's how bad he was beating them.
Yeah, but I think that Jalen Hurts just missed a few of those throws, and that he really should have connected on a few of these plays, and they could have been touchdowns early on in the game. But again, and this defense, linebackers are the clearest. It's the clear weak point for this defense. When your defensive line wasn't getting pressure like tonight, something that you're not used to all season, it shows how bad that your linebackers play. They can't fill up any holes in the run game. They can't cover well. The secondary, I think they are really good, and I think that they do their job, but it's hard when your defensive line isn't getting any pressure. And Tom Brady and the Buccaneers had to take their hats off. I have to tip my hat to them. Really good team. And again, I think that they could have beat us even way worse than it could have been. I think they kind of took their foot off the pedal in the second half, and I think that the Buccaneers are still one of the top teams in the NFL.
Yeah, when you look at Jalen Hurts, they always say that it was only his 10th game starting in his career, right? And but by the way that Nick Sirianni coaches, teams are giving them, I was telling you this, they're giving teams a lot of time to prep for him because they already know that they're not going to give the ball to Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
They're not going to share him with Gainwell, right? So as they watch Jalen Hurts, they know that he's not a very good pocket passer. They know he's going to make plays on his feet. And don't get me wrong, the Eagles had plenty of chances to win this game tonight. It's just I feel like the play calling held them back. Jalen Reagor was open on so many plays, and they just couldn't capitalize off the flags that he was getting off of them. So moving forward, like as I said before the season started, it's still a rebuilding year for the Eagles. I expect a lot more coming down the road in the future. But for the Buccaneers, who is a team built for right now, I think they're unstoppable.
Yeah, and looking at Jalen Hurts, I think this is probably his worst passing game of the season. I think you could look at the Cowboys game, but I think this may be his worst passing game of the season. So yeah, go ahead with the other games, little man.
So moving on to the games for this week. Week 6, finally. We have a good couple of games, a couple of early games. First one we're going to start off with the Los Angeles Chargers and the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. I believe it's in Baltimore, right? I think this is the team that Lamar got his first start in his career. He got a win. Mm-hmm. And they also gave him his first playoff loss. Mm-hmm. So I already know this means a lot to him. But both teams are coming off huge wins, right? But I don't think Lamar could succeed in the passing game as much as he did last week. Because this Chargers secondary, like I said before, they fly around, they make big plays. Asante Samuel Jr., who ran, I think, like a 4.4. he's gonna be flying across the field with Marquise Brown wherever he goes, and then you got Derwin James,
Yeah.
who's probably gonna be probably gonna be guarding a lot of Mark Andrews. So they're gonna take away what you really like to go to. But for the Ravens, if they had Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, I think I'd take them winning this game. But since the Chargers now have Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Jared Cook, Jalen Guy, and they can really throw it across the field. Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
It's just so many weapons across this. And I think that run game can work very well against this Ravens front because this Chargers offensive line with Rashawn Slater, Corey Linsley, they're tough. I think they can match up with any other defensive line in the league.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm taking the Chargers in Baltimore.
Okay, do you think it's going to be close, or do you think it's
I do think it's going to be a close game. I think this might shape up to be one of the best games of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it could be a mirror image of last week against the Browns. I think that's the kind of game we could get. But when I look at both of these teams, obviously I think that both these teams are contenders, not only to win the AFC, but to win the Super Bowl. I think both of these teams are really well put together. The Ravens, they kind of shocked everyone with how Lamar has been passing. In the past 2 games, having 758 yards combined through the air. Hollywood Brown has been playing really well. He's looking like a receiver number 1. Mark Andrews has kind of found his footing after having somewhat of a down year last year. He's picking it up, especially in that Monday night game. With the Chargers, honestly, I think it's a big thing to say going forward that they're actually winning close games. Again, I'm going to harp on it all season. They're winning close games, something that they haven't done in the previous years. And also, even if they didn't win close games in the previous years, it's still big for a young football team who's coming together with a new head coach. When I look at this game, though, I think both defenses are the position groups that we're going to have to look at. When you look at it, the Ravens defense is going to have to focus on 2 top 10 wide receivers right now. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are playing phenomenal football. You look at, they also have to deal with a great offensive line, a great running game, a great running back with Austin Eckler. And then, in my opinion, me and Lamar were saying this after Sunday, that we think that Justin Herbert is now in that realm with the Mahomes, with the Josh Allens. He's finally coming into his own. He's gonna be that future quarterback of the NFL. And it's going to be really hard for the Ravens to stop. And with the Chargers, the Chargers are going to have to look at Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, who's a deep threat now. But not only that, with all this passing that's been going on, and that's been the talk of the NFL, you also have to remember that the Ravens are known for one thing, and that's their running game. You have to also focus and worry about Lamar. That's why their passing game is opened up so much, because you have to focus on Lamar and these running backs and the running game. That being said, I am still going to take the Chargers. I think the Chargers are still a really well put together team. I think their running game is going to help out in the end of the game with our dominant offensive line. And I think when you look at the quarterbacks, they do 2 different things. I still trust Justin Herbert in being an elite passer, and I'm taking the Chargers.
So I think we can both agree it's a close win, right?
Yeah.
Close win in Baltimore. So the second game moving forward, Cardinals versus Browns. What do you see in that game that could possibly... Because I see 2 different teams, right? I see a team that can just put up points like no one else's business, and I see another team that can dominate on defense and can also smash the freaking football right down your throat in the run game. So what do you see coming out of that game?
I see the Browns with a slight advantage in this game. If you look at it, they're obviously at home. They're the more physical team in my opinion. And they're also coming off of a hot performance. Even though it was a loss, they're coming off of a good performance, scoring 42 points in a hostile environment.
Yep.
Also, your number 1 wide receiver didn't have really a big game, receiving yards wise, and the Cardinals only put up 17 points in a division matchup that was hard fought. So I think these 2 teams are coming off of different performances.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are without Rodney Hudson. He's not going to play this game.
That's tough.
Yeah, and when you're facing a physical Browns defensive line, I think that's going to be tough on you.
Top 5 in the league for sure.
Yep. But Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, in my opinion, that's the X factor to this game. Again, they were kind of on and off this season, but when they finally got it going last week against the San Francisco 49ers in the 4th quarter, Kyler Murray had a long pass to DeAndre Hopkins. Then the next play later, he has a touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. So I think that when you get these 2 going, when you have that chemistry that's going, defenses fear DeAndre Hopkins. They fear Kyler Murray. I think that that's the recipe they have to hit on early, and I think that that's why I'm going with the Cardinals. I think they're going to move on to 6-0. I don't trust Baker to win you close games, and I think Kyler Murray and this offense is going to explode.
You got the Cardinals?
Yeah.
All right. I have 2 X factors, right?
Uh-huh.
So for the Browns, I'm taking Odell Beckham Jr. As we all know, he's having probably one of the worst year of his career.
Yeah.
As we all know. But I think the Browns can actually find a way, and I mean it this time, to get him involved in this game and get him big plays and open up the run game from there, getting OBJ the ball. Now, for the Cardinals standpoint, I think it's Rondale Moore. I mean, you already know the Browns going to be locked in on AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, right? Max Williams is out. You got Chase Edmonds, James Conner, who can also run the ball down your throat.
Yeah.
But I feel like if Rondale Moore, he's had a lot this year, don't get me wrong. But this week might be his coming out game. This is where he might be arguably one of the top rookie receivers in the league.
Yeah.
But all that being said, this is tough. I'm not even gonna lie, this is tough. But I think the Cleveland Browns walk out of Arizona, or out of Cleveland, their home stadium, with a win, upsetting the Arizona Cardinals.
I could really see that. And again, I liked how you said that these are two different teams. And I think that the Browns, that's why I had it as their advantage, being physical and at home. I think that could help them, but I'm still going with the Cardinals. But I like your pick. Can't hate on me.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you either. I'm not gonna lie. So moving on to Game 3, right? Now I have this one here because I know me and our other co-host Jeremiah how much this game actually means to us, right? Mm-hmm. Now, actually looking at it, Bill Belichick has a good history against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm not one to deny that, right? I think I want to say 8-0 against them, 7-0 against them. He takes away what you're good at. But I think with the Cowboys, I think they're good at a lot of things, and I'm not sure if the Patriots defense can really stop them that well because their run game, I think their D-line is not all that good. I don't think it's been as good as it has been in the past. And I think the Cowboys are second in rushing this year. Mm-hmm. So I really want to see a lot of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott again. And even if you take them away, I want to see a lot more of Dalton Schultz. Him and Blake Jarwin, I feel like that's a deadly sleeper tight end duo in the league. So I think I'm going to take us in Foxborough in a close win. And I also think that we could put pressure on Mac Jones. And you already know he's not afraid to throw a ball at Trayvon Diggs because they've been practicing in college for the past, I think, 3-4 years against each other in scout or starters versus starters.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good sight to see. I'm very excited for this game.
I think when you look at I like how you just brought this up, but with Trayvon Diggs, I think that the Patriots offense, they obviously lack deep threats, right? I think that's something that the offense is lacking. I think Trayvon Diggs is going to be really physical. I think he's really going to be on his heels all game. He's not going to play the deep threat, and I think he's going to come up and make some big plays. And I think he could possibly have a pick 6 in this game.
I'm going to go ahead and put this on pause. I'm sorry. This is if he plays, okay? Because there's reports saying that he's hurt. I'm not sure if he's going to play, him and Tyron Smith. But from what I'm hearing from my Cowboy sources on Instagram, that Tyron Smith is probably going to play, but not so much sure about Trayvon Diggs.
Really?
Yeah. But either way, I still think we have the depth. We still have Kevin Joseph, who hasn't gotten a lot of playing time, but I still think that he can fit that role. Like you said, the Patriots don't have a lot of deep threat, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Yeah. You have Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, Keanu Neal, who could possibly play safety, and you bring down Jaron Curtis to cover in a nickel or something like that. Mm-hmm. But it'll be tough without Trayvon Diggs, but either way, I think we win in a close one.
I think he's going to play. And also, I think that the Dallas Cowboys offense, I don't know if I said in previous videos, but I think that they're the most well-rounded offense in the NFL. And I think that Bill Belichick is going to have to pick his poison. I think he's going to try to stop the running game, and he's going to just try to make Dak just throw a bunch.
I think he's going to stack the line, too.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you have to do against this team. So I'm still going to go with the Cowboys. I think they're just too much on offense. And this is something that we haven't said in a while, but their defense is actually really, really scary. I'm actually scared of this defense. And when your offense for the Patriots isn't putting up that many explosive plays, Mac Jones, he's playing conservative, and the play calling is also really conservative. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a really close game, though, to start off, where I think the Cowboys will pull away.
Yeah. And another plus I give the Cowboys is that the Patriots probably won't have a back this week. It'll probably be the two special teams running backs. Mm-hmm. But moving on, we'll go ahead and go to probably two of the teams that are one of the most disappointing. I'm pretty sure we can agree.
Yeah.
Two of the most disappointing teams to start off the season. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Washington Football Team.
Yeah.
Two teams who I really don't think they found their identity just yet in this long NFL 18-game season. Both teams really struggling on defense. I think we can say more on the Washington Football Team because everyone expected them to be the top defense in the league, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone expected to come out and be in the race with the Cowboys or whoever in the NFC East. A lot of people had them taking it this year.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie, especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So what do you have in this game? Who do you see winning and why?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say the Chiefs. And I think that if the Chiefs, if they do not win this game, it is officially full-on panic mode. I think last week you started to panic a little bit. You started to question them and look at them a little differently. But this week, definitely, if this game goes the Washington Football Team's way, I think it is going to be scary for the Chiefs in their future. But I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. Again, like I was saying in the video that we didn't get to post, I said that the Kansas City Chiefs offense, they didn't look like they were scared because they weren't scoring points or gaining yards. They looked like they were scared because they couldn't carry their defense. And they still mustered up 20 points. And again, they also spotted the Bills a few points with turnovers and a pick six. So I don't think that this Chiefs offense is definitely struggling to get any points or any yards. I think their deep threats are gone now. I think that's something they got to game plan and adjust. Again, Andy Reid hasn't adjusted to any adjustments to his team. So I think that that's something they have to worry about. But again, I think this Washington football team, they could carve up this defense. Just like anyone else in the NFL. I think they could carve up this Kansas City Chiefs defense. The secondary isn't good. And I do understand that the Chiefs are missing players on the Sunday night game. But I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. I think Mahomes isn't going to lose however many in a row. What is it? Oh, it was one in a row. Okay. But still, I just don't see them losing a game. But yeah. I don't see them losing this game.
Okay, you got the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take the Chiefs too because I got my money on Mahomes. If it's a shootout or not, I'll still take Mahomes against the Washington football team. A defense that gives you anything really across the field.
Yeah.
And I don't think Washington can last in a shootout with the Chiefs.
That's true.
Let's be honest, right? So moving on to the next game.
Wait. Actually, one thing I wanted to do is there were talks about the Chiefs adding Marlon Mack, trading for him. I think that would be a really good pickup, but I think someone you could get for really cheap is Boston Scott. I was watching the Eagles game, and I really forgot he was on the roster. And I think adding him for a cheap 7th round pick or whatever, you could get Mahomes an explosive running back out of the backfield to dump it off to run the ball. I think that would be a good pickup.
Yeah, from Miles Sanders, I don't know the way his carries are going. But moving on to the Monday night game, the Buffalo Bills and Tennessee Titans. Now last year, this is probably one of the most shocking games of the year. We saw the Titans actually absolutely dominate this Bills team, right? This year, whole lot different. Bills in both categories, passing and rushing, I think are top 3.
Yeah.
Right? And the best thing that these Titans do is rush the ball. And now this D-line with Gregory Rousseau, who's massive, right? I think he's like 6'7". I don't know. He's huge though, and he scares me. I think this D-line can get after Derrick Henry, shut him down. They did last year.
Yeah.
But the one person they couldn't stop on that team was A.J. Brown. But now these corners they're going to be ready for that from last year. They're going to be more prepared for that, right? And Julio Jones, I think they can take him away as well.
Yeah.
Maybe covering with Tre'Davious White.
Wait, is Julio Jones even back?
I'm not sure if he's still going to play. On my fantasy, it said he's questionable.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Either way, I'm not starting him against his defense, right?
Yeah.
And Josh Allen, just another defense where you just serve him up. Give him a little bow tie, right? You give him a little napkin. Serve him up his plate of food. Yeah. It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad, really? You think it's going to be a blowout?
I think he's going to put up a lot of yards. That's what I mean. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think him, Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox, they're going to have some fun.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree with Littleman. I am going to take the Bills in this game. And again, I think Tennessee, the one thing that they do really well, obviously, is run the ball with Derrick Henry. I think that's really good, but I think it's really hard to beat a well-rounded team with a good defense, with an elite quarterback on the opposite side. I think that this Bills offense is going to, again, like how Littleman said, he's going to get his, whatever you said, his bib or whatever, and he's going to serve up, he's going to carve up the defense. I think that this Bills team also is hyped because they got maybe the biggest win for them all season. They're really engaged and... Why are you on your phone?
Sorry, I'm just checking.
They're really engaged and they came off a big win, a big hype win. They wanted to beat Kansas City regardless of what they were saying all week leading up to the game. This was a big win for them. You saw them dancing on the field after the game. They are hyped. They're going to be the biggest and baddest team going forward, and I just don't see anyone stopping them. And I do think that this Titans defense just isn't really good. So I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay, so moving on. This is a game we had to take off the rapid fire, right?
No.
I'm not sure if you took it off, but I'm deciding not to.
Okay.
Right? So you just give your thoughts on this game. The Vikings and Panthers. I think both these teams are... I don't really know how to describe these teams. Vikings are really confusing, and I think so are the Panthers. But I think the Panthers are just in a little rough patch, you know?
Yeah.
But moving forward, right, I think this game's in Carolina. I think we'll be playing in Carolina. I'm not sure if Dalvin Cook's going to play. We're not sure if Christian McCaffrey's going to play. So, with that being said, these offenses, 2 outstanding wide receivers. One has a great defense. One has okay, iffy defense, right? I'll give them that. So, in this game, who do you have coming out with the win?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with the Vikings. If we're just looking at the both running back situations, both of the running backs being hurt, Christian McCaffrey adds a bigger element in the passing game and the running game. Dalvin Cook does add an element in the passing game, but I think that Kirk Cousins could survive, and I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback. I think Sam Darnold really took a dip, and after seeing him play really good the first 3 weeks against lackluster teams, and they actually played 2 really good teams in the Cowboys and the Eagles, 2 really good teams. So I do think that the Vikings have the advantage. They also have the better receivers. So yeah, I'm just going to go with the Vikings. I think they have the better quarterback, better all-around offense, and I think that this defense for Carolina is good, but they haven't really faced anyone with true firepower except for the Cowboys, and you see what happened. So
I'm going to go ahead and take the Panthers.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to differ from you here. I still think this Panthers defense is well-rounded. I think they can attack Kirk Cousins. They can put the pressure on. As we saw, when he gets pressured, you know Kirk he's gonna crumble.
Yeah,
right?
he's like Derek Carr.
And I think that Sam Darnold's gonna have a bounce back game, and I think he's gonna get Robbie Anderson more involved this game. I mean, I'm pretty sure Robbie Anderson has heard the chirping on social media about him not getting the ball thrown his way.
Yeah.
And as we saw last week, that was his opportunity.
And
with DJ Moore being taken away from Darius Slay,
Yeah.
and bad balls being thrown all around.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting a huge turnaround this weekend, and I got the Panthers winning.
Okay. Can't hate on that.
All right. So now, the segment we've all been waiting for, the rapid fire. All right.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna give a quick little take on these games, right? Some of these are actually pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
Willie wanted to keep the Packers Bears off of it, but he can just give his thoughts on it, all right? So first game, the Dolphins versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Another game in London, right? Who do you got winning this?
I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to get their first win. I don't think the Dolphins are that good of a team on offense. I just think that, I mean, it's a game that I really don't care about. I really can't care less. I really couldn't care less. I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a big game.
I mean, I'm still gonna wake up at 6:30 a.m. to watch this game, right? But I think that this defense, the Dolphins defense, I think they can make Trevor Lawrence crumble once again. Another defense that can make him crumble. You have Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Jalen Phillips at defensive end. This defense is still stacked, okay? I know they give up 45 points, but it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, who's not going to give up 45 points to arguably the GOAT of football, okay? As that being said, I have the Dolphins winning this game. You can already tell.
Yeah.
Packers versus Bears. You got Justin Fields, the future, versus the vet in Aaron Rodgers.
Obviously going to go with the Packers here, but I think that I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Justin Fields. Because again, this defense is missing Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander. We don't know if they're going to play this week. Well, Zadarius Smith is out. And I think that this defense is just going to get better and better over the season. And I think that Justin Fields, he did come off of a really big win, but it's going to be hard to match what Aaron Rodgers is doing on the other side of the field. So
now, this is, you like to say, division matchups are a lot harder than people think, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like this game, the Bears can give them a run for their money.
I think they can, yeah.
I think they really can. But, so y'all know, like I said last week, I just can't bet on Aaron Rodgers playing bad against the Chicago Bears, the team that he's stolen the most touchdowns against in his career. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers in this one. Go ahead and agree with you there. Now, the Bengals versus Lions.
I'm going to go with the Bengals. Joe Burrow looks amazing. Jamar Chase looks amazing. This offense is really well-rounded. I think they look amazing.
Joe Burrow, I mean.
Oh, you don't think Joe Burrow's okay, that overtime interception, I see where you're coming from. But I do think that this team really could have won last week. It's kind of hard to see where they could have won because a bunch of missed field goals from both teams. But they were putting up a really good fight. They went overtime with the Packers team and an elite quarterback with Aaron Rodgers. So, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think the Lions, just after every heartbreaking loss, it's just eventually going to get to them, and I think it's going to be hard for them to win.
Yeah, I think this is a game where, the Bengals just have a little bit of playground fun with the Lions, if I'm being honest. The Texans versus the Colts, another division game. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of promise in Davis Mills. I'm not even going to lie. I like the fight that he put up against Bill Belichick.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Colts. I think Carson Wentz looked really well against an elite Ravens defense last week. Jonathan Taylor finally got going after getting the touches.
Thank God.
After finally getting the touches that he didn't get against the Titans and previous games. He's finally getting the touches. I think that Frank Reich is going to fall into his groove. Again, just his secondary worries me a lot about these Colts, but I'm still going to go with the Colts.
All right. Yeah. So Rams-Giants.
Wait, who'd you pick?
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah, Colts.
Okay.
Rams-Giants. Now, this is a game I'd be very interested in if these two injuries didn't happen to Danny Dimes and Saquon Barkley and Kenny Golladay, right? There's injuries across the board. But for saying that, I don't see the Rams losing in New York to this team. If they do, that takes them off the top 5 automatically, in my opinion. I think it takes them off the top 5.
I think that the Rams are gonna win this game, but I'm not gonna watch this game looking at if they win this game. I'm gonna watch it looking at if Sam Darnold, Jesus Christ, Matthew Stafford, if he looks better than he did against the Seattle Seahawks. Again, he had a bunch of yards, his finger, but he had a bunch of yards, and he was missing on a bunch of throws to Cooper Kupp. So I think that their chemistry could get going. They had extra time to practice now because they played on Thursday, had a few extra days to recover and recuperate. Yeah, I think this is going to be a big win. I think Matthew Stafford is going to have another big game.
I agree. I'm taking the Rams in this one. So moving on to the Sunday Night Football game.
That's the wrong song.
Oh, sorry. The Seahawks and the Steelers, which I thought a game could have potential again, but as we all know, we're going to get to watch Geno Smith on Sunday Night Football once again.
You don't sound excited. I'm actually excited to see that, but
Geno Smith play football.
Yeah.
This man got hype. He got hyped that he was going to get the ball. The final 2 minutes of the game, his first throws a pick. Jesus, man.
Listen,
I got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's his first regular season action in a long time. Well, aside from like week 17. But, okay, I'm going to go with the Seahawks still. Actually, wait, no, what am I saying? I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think they had a really good win against a good defense with the Broncos. And I think Ben Roethlisberger really did look better than he did all season. He threw a deep touchdown pass early on in the game. And I think Geno Smith, he's going to struggle a bit. But I'm still excited to see how he plays, how he performs with these two elite receivers that he has. If Chris Carson does play, I think that's going to add another element that the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has to stop. And I think Chris Carson adds a whole different element to this offense. So yeah, I'm still going to go with the Steelers.
I think you just sold me on that if Chris Carson plays.
What?
And especially the way the Steelers played without Juju last week.
Yeah, and Juju's feared to be out for the
Might
season.
actually be exciting.
Yeah.
Two teams that are underperforming.
Can I watch that at your house? Can I watch the game at your house?
Fine.
Okay.
Alright, well, that concludes the video. Week 6 is upon us.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Patriots. Thank you for all the support. We really appreciate it. Hopefully polls will get back up. You know, that's one thing.
Whoever's running Instagram.
Yeah, whoever's running it. Shout out to Jeremiah on the TikToks. He's doing his thing over there.
Yeah.
And 3 Guys with Mike. Again, saying thank you for watching. I fucking hate you.